Welcome back to Poorly Educated Today in the News, the only news show where we look at America at 250 years old and say, well, she still runs, but she rattles like a lawnmower full of gravel. It's January 1st, 2026, the semi-quincentennial kickoff, which is a fancy word meaning, y'all, we got balloons, but also problems. The Times Square folks raised a 12,000-pound constellation ball that's going to hang there until July 4th, which feels like a metaphor for America. We built something shiny, heavy, and now nobody knows how to take it down safely. Segment 1. A Big Beautiful Bill and the Year of Tax Experiments. America woke up today to the full rollout of the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, OBBBA, or as rednecks everywhere call it. Oh boy, better brace again. The thing rewrites the whole tax code like Uncle Randy rewrites his online dating profile every week. Optimistic, confusing, and probably not true when you dig into it. We got 7 tax brackets locked in, higher standard deductions, and deductions for overtime and tips. That's right. The government finally admitted that folks who work 60 hours and get tipped in crumpled singles might deserve a break. Only took 250 years. I'm just waiting for Congress to pass the Free Sweet Tea for All Americans Who Work Retail Act. Then there's the Trump accounts, baby IRAs, but with a stock market funnel big enough to rocket launch newborns straight into Wall Street. These kids are going to grow up knowing more about the S&P 500 than their own cousins. Imagine a toddler saying, "Mama, I want Paw Patrol fruit snacks," but only if they're indexed to long-term market performance. Segment 2. California's We're the Parent Now Regulation Festival. While DC deregulates like it's spring cleaning, California passed enough laws this year to fill a glove-box Bible. They banned Skittles ingredients in schools, which means half of America's vending machines are now contraband. They slapped rules on AI companies like their toddlers needing name tags. Chatbots now gotta tell minors they ain't human, which honestly is more honesty than half this country gets from its elected officials. They even banned cat declawing. California looked at all the national crises and said, start with the felines. And hey, all student IDs now get the Trevor Project hotline. Because California saw the rest of the country burning bridges and said, we'll build one. This state isn't a regulatory fortress. It's a bureaucratic Bass Pro Shop. Segment 3. The Switzerland Ski Resort Inferno, a global wake-up call. A Swiss ski resort bar called Le Constellation burned down last night after somebody strapped sparklers to champagne like it was the 4th of July at a moonshine distillery. The ceiling lit up faster than my cousin Travis when he found out his ex remarried. 40 people dead, over 115 hurt, and several Americans missing. It's the Station nightclub and Kiss nightclub tragedies all over again, except this time, it's in a basement under a bar full of tourists. When even Switzerland, the world's neutral librarian, starts having tragic fireworks disasters, that's when you know humanity cannot be trusted with fire or celebrations, or possibly Swiss basements. Segment 4. Ukraine, peace talks, drones, and denials. Ukraine supposedly has a 90% complete peace deal, but the battlefield looks more like 2 guys arguing while throwing furniture at each other. Ukraine hit a Russian-occupied hotel in Korly, where civilians just happened to be celebrating in a room full of Russian officers. Russia claimed it was terrorism. Ukraine basically winked and said, "Sure, buddy." Then Russia claimed Ukraine sent a drone to assassinate Putin. Ukraine denied it. The US denied it. Half of Russia probably denied it. But the Kremlin said the drone had navigation data proving it, which is suspiciously convenient, like when a redneck says, "I wasn't speeding, officer. My truck accelerates out of patriotism." This is the peace process equivalent of two raccoons saying they're done fighting but still slapping each other with trash can lids. Segment 5. Gaza's aid collapse and Iran's boiling streets. Israel banned 37 NGOs from operating in Gaza unless they hand over full staff lists, which they won't, meaning MSF, Oxfam, and others will be forced out by March. The UN says the remaining aid system could collapse like a folding chair under a linebacker. Meanwhile, Iran's inflation hit 40%. The bazaar erupted into protests, and folks went from lower prices to lower the regime in record time. When even carpet sellers in Tehran start chanting, "You know the government's in trouble," those folks can haggle their way out of anything. Segment 6. America's Economic Outlook. The Year of Disinflation. Goldman says 2026 will be strong. Morgan Stanley says it'll be medium sad. Economists disagree like they're arguing over whether gas station burritos count as food. GDP looks okay. Inflation could settle. Unemployment might wobble like a washing machine with one boot inside it, and the Fed might cut rates if the economy behaves. Big if. Meanwhile, South Korea is exporting chips like the entire nation turned into a semiconductor Willy Wonka factory. Even Bulgaria joined the euro today. The locals protested because they didn't want prices rising. I respect that. Nothing unites humanity like being mad about groceries. Segment 7. America 250. Protests, parades, and football chaos. America 250 kicked off with a giant ball lifted into the sky for 6 months. Which is fitting. America doesn't drop balls anymore. We just leave them hanging. But the No Kings movement showed up to protest executive power. One of their rallies in Salt Lake City turned violent because nothing says no kings like 10,000 people crowding around shouting while America's 250th birthday balloon glows proudly like a celestial piñata. Meanwhile, the Rose Parade kept things wholesome with Magic Johnson as Grand Marshal, and college football said, "Why not?" by placing Indiana as the #1 seed over Alabama. Alabama fans haven't been this confused since someone told them evolution was real. Segment 8. Kansas, the rural reality check. Kansas has distracted driving fatalities through the roof, meth labs still going off like DIY chemistry sets, and oil and gas drilling down 42%. When Kansas's oil economy dries up, that's when you know the energy transition ain't theoretical. It's hitting the dudes who wear overalls because they mean it. I love Kansas folks, though. They'll see a meth lab raid on the news, shrug, and say, "Well, at least it wasn't my cousins this time." The OBBBA says the new tax code will save rural America. Kansas says, "Good luck, partner." In conclusion, America begins its 250th year like a firework that didn't know whether it wanted to sparkle or explode. We've got tax experiments, global crises, cultural protests, parades, and a football playoff system that might be the most chaotic metaphor for this country ever written. But hey, if rednecks can survive expired gas station beef jerky, America can survive 2026. That's today's news, folks. Stay poorly educated, stay entertained, and stay aware enough to know when your government tries to hand you a sparkler in a wooden bar ceiling.